By the time police finally tracked down Marshall Jones, Alexis Gabe was already gone. June 1, 2022, Kent, Washington. The Pacific Northwest Violent Offenders Task Force surrounded an apartment complex, preparing to arrest a murder suspect connected to the disappearance of a 24-year-old California woman. But within seconds, everything would spiral out of control. According to investigators, Marshall Jones suddenly charged at officers holding a large kitchen knife. Gunshots erupted, and just like that, the only person who knew where Alexis Gabe's body was hidden was dead. What followed became one of California's most haunting searches for answers. Before the headlines, before the searches, before the nationwide manhunt, there was Alexis Gabe. Friends and family described the 24-year-old as warm, energetic, and deeply loved by the people around her. She lived in Oakley, California, a quiet city where violent crime rarely captured national attention. But in January of 2022, something changed. That evening, Alexis drove to Antioch, California, to visit her ex-boyfriend, Marshall Curtis Jones. At first, nothing seemed unusual. She was expected to return home later that night, but she never did. The next morning, Alexis stopped responding to calls and messages. At first, her family hoped there was a simple explanation, but as hours passed, panic began replacing hope. Then came the first major clue. Alexis's vehicle was discovered abandoned in Oakley. The car was empty. No sign of Alexis, no explanation, no answers. Investigators soon realized something disturbing. Alexis had last been seen at Marshall Jones's house, and now Marshall Jones was nowhere to be found. As detectives began reconstructing Alexis's final hours, the case quickly shifted from a missing persons investigation to something far darker. Investigators analyzed cell phone records, surveillance footage, and witness timelines, and piece by piece, a disturbing picture began to emerge. Authorities later revealed that Marshall Jones's DNA had been discovered on Alexis's discarded cell phone case. That detail changed everything. Investigators now believed Alexis Gabe had been murdered, and while detectives searched for evidence, Marshall Jones vanished. The search exploded across state lines. Law enforcement agencies coordinated an expanding manhunt as Alexis's family desperately searched for answers. Meanwhile, volunteers organized search parties across Northern California. But there was one horrifying problem. Alexis was still missing. No body, no confession, no closure. Then investigators got a lead. They located Marshall Jones nearly 700 miles away. June 1, 2022. Officers prepared to arrest Marshall Jones inside an apartment complex in Kent, Washington. The operation was supposed to bring answers, but instead, it ended in gunfire. Authorities say Jones rushed toward officers armed with a large kitchen knife. Police opened fire. Marshall Jones died at the scene, and in that instant, the investigation changed forever. Even after Jones's death, Alexis Gabe had still not been found. For her family, the nightmare continued. Somewhere hidden in the vast wilderness of Northern California, Alexis's remains were waiting to be discovered. Then investigators uncovered something chilling. Handwritten directions believed to have been connected to Marshall Jones. The directions pointed toward remote terrain in Amador County, and months later, a horrifying discovery was finally made. November 2022. A man searching with a metal detector made a disturbing discovery in the Sierra foothills: partial human remains and a pair of earrings. Dental records later confirmed the remains belonged to Alexis Gabe. But investigators would soon uncover something even more horrifying. Authorities determined Alexis had been dismembered and her remains scattered across remote areas. For Alexis's family, the discovery brought heartbreak instead of closure. Even after Marshall Jones's death, the questions didn't stop. Alexis's family became convinced that someone else may have helped cover up the crime. The family believed Jones's mother may have assisted in disposing of evidence after the murder. Public pressure intensified. Demonstrations demanded accountability, but prosecutors faced a difficult reality. There was not enough evidence to prove criminal involvement beyond a reasonable doubt. In January 2025, Contra Costa County District Attorney Diana Beckton formally announced that no charges would be filed against Jones's mother. For Alexis Gabe's family, the decision was devastating. Legally, the investigation had reached its end, but emotionally, nothing felt finished. Today, Alexis's family continues honoring her memory through annual vigils and acts of kindness in her name. But behind every memorial remains the painful reality that the full truth may never be known. Marshall Jones died before revealing exactly what happened that night, and for Alexis Gabe's loved ones, that silence may be the hardest part of all.